Oh, yes, indeed. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight on the show, we preview WWE Clash at the Castle. Clash at the Castle. Johnny North in the house. Simon Brothers in full effect. It's Wrestling Uncensored. You know the deal. It's Friday night. We've been doing these shows, almost 700 of these at this point, Big Johnny. So, you know, people know. People know what's up. We're going to preview the WWE Clash at the Castle going down tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be on right after that event to recap and review, give you our match of the afternoon, give you our score on 10 for the show. WWE's Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, Scotland. So, that's fun. John, are you well? You good? Looking big? Looking jacked? How you feeling?
Not too bad. Weather's been pretty good. Construction's terrible everywhere. But that's Montreal. Nothing really changes with that, sadly.
I always take a risk when I start the show and I say, John, how you feeling?
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
You never know. You know, it might come with a story about, you know, some sort of metro interaction, something on the street happening with Johnny. You never know. I took a risk. And when I threw it to him saying, how you doing? I was like, ooh, where's this going to go? And it didn't go too far, you know?
Yeah.
It didn't go too far, John.
Johnny North is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. But just when you throw that how you doing at the beginning of the show, it often comes with he's holding something in. Like there's something in there that he needs to get out.
Something in the chamber.
Yeah. Today wasn't so bad, John. You've had a good week, I think.
I would think when you throw it to AJ, that must be like you are very worried and scared many times. I think with me, it's like, yeah, it might be kind of crazy, the story, but at least it doesn't go off the walls too much. With AJ, it goes all over the place. You saw last night, too.
Yeah. AJ, yeah, you give AJ an inch and he'll take a mile. He'll just go on and on.
Yeah.
He'll just go on and on. You got to cut him off.
Once you pop, you don't stop.
Yeah. AJ has this thing, too, that I've noticed when I say goodbye to AJ, like after the show, when we're talking after the show and we're, you know, I'm trying to say goodbye to AJ. You say, okay, bye, AJ. You'll be like, okay, take care, Dave. Okay, see you, AJ. All right, okay, bye. Like, he's got to get the last goodbye in. And sometimes I just go and see how long the goodbye will last before I go, okay, bye, man. And then he says, okay, Dave, take care. You know, like there's always, he's got to get the last goodbye in. He's got to get the last word in all the time. I've noticed that. And I don't know what that is. But John doesn't need that. Look at him. He's just quiet. He's not saying a goddamn word.
Well, I've also heard on the podcast, because I like to listen to both podcast versions. Like when you guys do it, it's all over the place. When we do it, more structure, order, calm, peaceful. I mean, it can get crazy at times, but it's not as off the wall as Ringside Report.
Yeah.
Which is still a very good show, and everyone should listen to and watch that show as well on YouTube and all over on podcast land.
Yeah, Ringside Report MMA for sure, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. But if you notice, John, when it's Fred and I, it is a lot more organized and structured. Like when it's just me and Fred, which doesn't happen that often, but once in a while AJ won't be there and it'll be Fred and I, and it's, you know, it's kind of like when you and I do this show.
I put over AJ a lot here because he's the X factor, I find, for every
great.
show.
I love him.
So he's lovable, without question. It'd be great to have him tomorrow, but I don't think he's big on watching the Clash, sadly.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll watch it. I don't know if he's aware of it. I think he's watching. Isn't Italy playing in the Euro tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
Soccer tomorrow, and I believe Anderson and Chael tomorrow. He's probably going to watch that.
I think that's at night, though. It's in Brazil.
Well, he's busy all day tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a busy day tomorrow. Anderson and Chael are boxing tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, in Brazil. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, Chael.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like a good move for the Chael. Alex Tarras with a comment in the YouTube chat says, the Dave brother is back, baby, with like 8 Ys. The future Tage Team Championship. I love that comment. I know what he means. We're back, and we're the future tag team champions.
The Dave brothers.
The Dave brothers.
I thought we were the Disgusting brothers.
I thought we were the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I guess we're the Dave brothers.
All right. I accept it.
Jimmy James, member of the team, checking in. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Ryan Katz as well. Another member, of course, Angelo Contagonis, our main man, out in Laval. Franco316 checking in. Good to see everybody in the YouTube chat, all the members over at join.ringsidereport.net supporting the channel, keeping us alive, brother. I know we got a lot of viewers on X, Twitter, or whatever it's called. So thank you to everybody watching us on Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, however you watch this program. I hope you like it. I mean, I don't do the show in the hopes that you don't like it, right? Or do I?
I don't know.
Or do I?
This one big troll job.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just messing with people, trying to give them the worst, most unprofessional pro wrestling podcast out there. I'm just spending my time as a massive troll job on some people.
It's a long con.
And I'm failing at the con, too, because I'm giving a pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not much. It's not a rib.
I mean, John's on it. John saves the show most weeks. Thanks, John.
I do what I can. Right now, enjoying Rampage right now. I know you're probably not enjoying it right now because you're not a big fan of the Cage of Agony.
Who the hell are these guys?
Right now.
There's a bunch of guys on Rampage. I'm watching on the side of my screen here. I don't know who any, but it's the Age of Agony, Disciples of Destruction, Agony. Brian Cage, there's him, and he's got some friends, and they're wrestling guys in cow pants. These guys have cow print pants.
Oof.
I don't know who these cow print guys are. Who are these jabronis? It's bad when you're watching an Age of Agony. Is it Age of Agony? I feel like that's not their name,
Cage.
John.
It's Cage of Agony. I didn't say Age. It says Cage of Agony.
What is Cage of Agony?
It's Brian Cage with the Gates of Agony.
Gates of Agony.
Oof, the Gates of Agony.
But
yes.
when they're the faction, when they're a trio, it's called the Cage of Agony.
Okay.
That's pretty sweaty.
And so we're watching a Cage of Agony squash match, elaborate squash match against 3 jabronis. I mean, if it were a squash match, it'd be more acceptable, but it's taken a while. The fact that these guys are getting TV time squashing jabronis just shows you where AEW's at. They're just filling time.
Yeah, they should be on Dark, if they still do Dark.
They should not be on TV, really.
Rampage pretty much is Dark at this point.
Rampage is a jabroni show that we shouldn't even talk about, John. We don't really talk about it. It's on while we're on. We kind of watch it, but we don't really. We talk more about the New York Yankees than we do about AEW Rampage.
How are they doing?
Exactly. It's more important, really.
Playing Johnny North's Red Sox.
Hey, John, how your Red Sox doing?
Well, not doing too great tonight.
I think they're losing right now 5-1 to the Yankees. I think that's what's happening in Boston.
The Phillies won?
They didn't win against the Red Sox. But the Red Sox are 2 wins back from the Twins, which is the goal in the end. It's get the wild card. Let's remember 20 years ago what happened when they won the wild card.
John's staying optimistic. Good for you, Jack.
It is 20 years, already,
Yeah.
That's nice winning the World Series.
Tremendous.
There's talk that Sportsnet might be getting AEW. There's talk in the chat, why would AEW be leaving TSN and all of that? And I think we're seeing why, because they're on an app. They're not even on TV. Sportsnet might put AEW's programming on their television. And Sportsnet is losing WWE in 2025. In like 6 months, WWE is going to be on Netflix here in Canada. So Sportsnet's going to be losing their WWE content. And apparently Rogers bought the rights to Warner Brothers Discovery programming in Canada. So they're probably going to get the rights to AEW, which would be really good for AEW, I think, because they'd be televised more. You'd probably get Collision, Rampage, and Dynamite televised every week instead of the week offering that TSN gives us, which is just Dynamite and then Rampage and Collision on their app that isn't great and not available on a lot of platforms. And, like, come on. I'd rather go with Sportsnet than TSN. That seems like the move for a wrestling company. Would you want to be on the channel that WWE has been on for over like a decade at this point? Or do you want to go to TSN that barely cares about pro wrestling and would rather air like, you know,
golf,
CFL or golf
darts,
or women's hockey or whatever the hell they're airing these days? No disrespect to any of those sports. I would rather just watch wrestling. You know, I prefer wrestling.
Well, I'll put one positive for TSN is that they've mastered the on-demand content compared to Sportsnet. Sportsnet, they pretty much just re-aired the exact broadcast, exactly how it aired with the commercials. And they're going to have to fix that if they're going to have AEW. What TSN does is that they air it without the commercials. So you see picture-in-picture, full screen, and then they'll have their little ads afterwards. But you still see this whole show, no picture-in-picture after the fact. Like, Sportsnet needs to make sure they do that because they don't do that now for WWE. They just air the commercials and that's it.
Yeah, but I think getting the shows televised should be the priority no matter how they're televised, because you got to get the eyeballs on AEW. We saw the TV and the shows that they've done in Canada. The tickets are not selling. You got to get more eyeballs on this product, and if it's on TV more often, more people are going to see it. At this point, AEW is a product that you have to seek out. You are only watching this show if you are an AEW fan and you're looking for it, and then you're paying for it. It's like a lot of effort you have to put in to watch Collision, which is kind of like their B show, and it's kind of like their SmackDown. You know, like stuff happens on Collision, but nobody in Canada is watching that thing unless you're a hardcore AEW fan that goes out looking for it. And those people, it's very few, right? So
not
if it was just on TV and you're flipping channels, you're watching hockey, it's intermission, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're watching wrestling on a Saturday night in Canada, that's good. Yeah. That's good for AEW. So they need to get that happening. They desperately need to get that happening if they want to keep running shows in Canada, which I think they do. You know,
you could put Adam Copeland in the booth during a Leafs broadcast. You know, I'm sure get tons of eyeballs.
There's a lot of stuff you can do, especially if you're working with Sportsnet. Like there's opportunities there that TSN doesn't seem to want to do. Yeah, they don't want to do any kind of crossover.
Because growing up, TSN was the place for wrestling, you know, because then they go on Off the Record.
All the time. Yeah. But now TSN, like, if you notice, like, the coverage, right, it changes. Yeah. So when TSN has pro wrestling, they don't do, like, a studio show about pro wrestling. But when Sportsnet has pro wrestling, sometimes, I don't know if they still do that, but they used to have their WWE
with the referee.
Yeah, that's it. Or with Renee, and that's where Renee started.
That's true.
Like, they had, like, a studio show. Even with the UFC, they have kind of people in their studio talking about the UFC. TSN did none of that. They aired when they had the UFC, they aired the UFC as, like, the UFC broadcast. And that was it. They didn't throw back to the studio with, like, UFC talk in between. They didn't have any of that.
No.
But Sportsnet actually goes and has coverage, kind of, you know, Canadian UFC coverage, and they put effort into it. Maybe they'd be able to put some effort into some AEW coverage as well, you know?
Yeah.
Because TSN, like, they don't care. They don't care. Like, I know, I've told this story before. Like, when I worked for TSN Radio, when TSN, because UFC used to be on Sportsnet, and then TSN got the rights, and I thought, oh, this is cool. There's going to be more coverage, more push for, you know, UFC coverage, because we have the rights now.
Use it.
And I was told by the program director. There was no talk of that. There was nothing. I was like, oh, okay, that sucks.
That's short-sighted.
Yeah, it was weird, They got the rights to it, but it seemed like they only got it because, whatever.
It was out there.
It was out there, and they did it. And see, they've, I think, lost them again. It went back to Sportsnet because TSN didn't care. They don't care about wrestling and MMA. That company is not interested. They're interested in, stick and ball sports.
Yeah.
That's fine. There's a huge market for that, obviously.
But Sportsnet's got the broadcast rights for a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to watch hockey or baseball, they own the Blue Jays.
Because Sportsnet goes where the money is.
Yeah.
I don't know what Bell's doing. They're trying to sell internet.
Yeah.
But Sportsnet's trying to make money for their media company too.
Yeah.
Like their media company is, looking to make money, looking to maximize revenue, and wrestling and MMA are, they sell. They've always sold on TV. Always. Yeah. Always. TSN never got that for some reason.
Strange.
So yeah. Sportsnet has the rights back for the UFC, and it looks like AEW is probably going to go to Sportsnet, hopefully, for them. Honestly, it would be a way better situation for them in Canada if they were on Sportsnet. They would get way more coverage. They'd probably be televised like 2 to 3 times a week instead of just once on TSN. Yeah. And also, there was a question about SmackDown maybe staying on Sportsnet or moving off Sportsnet. It's my understanding that SmackDown would also be moving to Netflix internationally. Like, it's going to stay on Fox in the States for the time being, but internationally, all WWE programming was sold to Netflix, including all the premium live events, the WWE Network, everything internationally, which includes Canada, like outside of the U.S., was sold to Netflix in that deal. Am I wrong on that? Did I get that wrong?
That was
I'm pretty
my understanding
sure
as well.
that SmackDown goes with it. So Sportsnet is losing SmackDown. Right, John? Do I have that right?
Yeah, you're right. I think the only way you could watch SmackDown on Fox is if you had an antenna. You could get a U.S. channel to watch Fox.
So even on my regular Fox channel that I have on my cable, it won't have SmackDown?
It might.
It'll be blacked out?
They might block it. I wouldn't be surprised. They might block it out because Netflix might have the rights in Canada.
That'd be a big move to black out Fox. I don't think they can do that. I don't know if they can.
Because our Fox affiliate is also in Burlington and Plattsburgh, no?
Yeah.
So
it'd be hard to block it out on the Canadian cable. Maybe they could.
Some way. But
I hope they don't. I like it.
I
like it on normal TV. I'm looking forward to the Netflix WWE era just to see what it's like. It's going to be a totally different.
Can they curse?
Vibe. You would.
Yeah, right.
Assume it's Netflix.
I mean,
everything's on Netflix. As a company completely changed into a more adult wrestling product because Netflix, But Netflix has kids programming too. Like, what's the rating going to be on WWE? They still want to do arena shows with kids there, right?
Yeah.
You still want to cater
to kids.
You still want to cater to families. You don't want to be too risque, because then you're gonna alienate a lot of kids.
Probably.
No, 100%.
Go ahead, John.
That's where the money. That's where the money is really for them. That's the difference between them and AEW right now. Because AEW tries to be too extreme and raunchy, or WWE it's more show business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jose Trevino just hit one over the monster in the 9th inning, John. 6-1 Yankees over your Red Sox in the 9th.
Again, we're two wins away from the Twins. It's fine.
Yeah.
As long as they stay consistent, which they are. They're I think, game over 500.
Oh,
they'll be 500 after tonight. That's fine.
Yankees are 20 games over 500.
Something like that.
I think they're going to be tonight will be their 50th win. I think they'll be 50-23, something like that. 27 games over 500.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
It's unbelievable. And still only in first place by 2.5 games.
No, the Orioles are insane. But Garrett Cole
are very good. Huh?
Garrett Cole's coming back.
Yeah, he is. I saw he's playing AAA. He pitched today, and he threw a ball Well, it was called a strike. The batter asked for review, which you can do now, and it was overturned to a ball.
Whoa.
Yes.
Is that they're like trying out in the minors and they're gonna maybe?
I can't.
The batter can ask. That's
yeah.
interesting.
That is
So if
they're doing that in and they're doing that in AAA ball. I saw that and I was like, "What is this?" It's like they're testing it out. And Garrett Cole, because I saw it because Garrett Cole was, people are paying attention. He threw a strike, and then the umpire called it a strike, and then the batter's like, check it, and then they check the video, whatever, and it's like, oh, it's a ball.
My mistake.
Which is crazy because I remember the time where you couldn't argue balls and strikes at all with the umpire. Ejection. You would get ejected.
Yeah, they did not stand for that at all.
The fact that that's even a thing, you're going to make umpires obsolete at some point. You're just going to have robots and AI and
that's
shit.
What I've heard. But, like, if you miss the challenge, it should be like an automatic out. Like, you should, because then, you'll think twice about saying.
Yeah, it should be an extra strike on you.
Or you're out already. Like, you should think about it before you say.
Yeah, I don't know what the consequence is to being wrong on the challenge.
Because, if you're trying to save time in baseball, every time the guy goes, no, it was a ball, look it over, like, that's going to make the game go longer.
And every umpire has his own kind of zone that you gotta work within. Yeah. I don't like that.
CB Buckner. Oof.
I don't like it, but I'm just saying that it happened, okay?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It did happen today in baseball. AAA ball. Garrett Cole working his way back to the major leagues after an injury. Okay, Johnny.
The Clash.
We talked about the Sportsnet. We talked about AJ DeLesio. We talked about AEW Rampage for some reason. I'm watching a Japanese man wrestle on AEW. I'm not sure who he is. He's wrestling Rocky Romero.
He did the Mercedes Moné dance before.
Who doesn't do that dance? It's a great dance. Sebastian Rouillard, member of the team, checking in. He says they need robots for balls and strikes. Maybe they do. Maybe that's where we're at. Robot umpires. I don't like it.
I don't think I like it either.
But you know what? I didn't like the idea of a pitch clock. But now that it's in effect and games are all under 3 hours, it's pretty good because as a person who watches a lot of baseball, it doesn't take up so much. We watch 4-hour games sometimes. I was like, dude, this is long.
Yankee Red Sox games used to take like 6 hours.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they would just take so much time.
This one is under 3 hours right now, and it's almost over.
Yeah.
Under 3 hours, which is good. I do like the pitch clock, so maybe I'll learn to accept it. I don't like that pitchers don't hit anymore. I don't like that at all.
I like the universal DH.
I don't. I like when pitchers had to hit. It added a different dimension to the game.
I don't know. So an automatic out,
I also don't like video review. I don't really like that. When they have to challenge and they do all that. I don't like that.
No.
I think umpires should convene, decide, and then, you can overturn. Like, you could go, hey, umps, like, I don't like this call. And then all the umps on the field, they do what they used to do. They talk about it, be like, how'd you see it? How'd you see it? Okay, maybe I got it wrong. Okay, cool. They go back, be like, yeah, all right. I was wrong. Overturn.
But they go to
I don't like the video.
York, right?
I don't like going to some office and doing the video thing. I like the human element to the game. I don't like too much video stuff. All right. Stop talking about the details of baseball.
The finer points.
Let's talk about the details of professional wrestling, John. Clash at the Castle going on tomorrow afternoon. I am excited. And I am excited for one match and one match only. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. And it's not even that I'm excited for the match itself. The match that I'm excited to see wrestling-wise will be AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes because their last match was very good, and I expect the next one to be awesome too. But I kind of know the finish, so I don't really care that much. But Priest and Drew, they've put themselves into a nice little corner booking-wise. They've put themselves into a position where there's a lot of people that would expect and be pushing for Drew to win, and then there's a lot of people that would expect and be pushing for Damian Priest to win, and there are good reasons for both guys to win and walk out world champion. So Damian Priest won the title at WrestleMania. If he were to drop it on June the 15th, that would be 2 months with the championship. And for a first title run being a 2-month reign off a Money in the Bank win, like, it's not like he won the title at WrestleMania by beating somebody in a match. He won the title at WrestleMania after Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins, and then after CM Punk attacked Drew McIntyre. Like, Drew McIntyre went through a lot, and then Damian Priest snuck in, cashed in Money in the Bank, and won the title. He didn't win the title particularly strong, and then his defense was against like Jey Uso, I think, which isn't the biggest win to get in the WWE over Jey Uso on a premium live event. So Priest hasn't really had a good run or a good shot at a run here. But with Rhea Ripley gone, Dominic Mysterio is a focus with Liv Morgan. Priest is just there as the champion. There are other guys swirling. Drew McIntyre is on the run of his career. He's cutting good promos for the first time in his life.
Something that held him back for a lot of his career.
He's loose. He's like, I like the Drew McIntyre character now because it seems like he goes, well, Punk's going to do this, so now I get to do this. And it's like, I can do this. He's getting more and more comfortable doing the like work shoot where he's saying what he really feels, but it's in character, brother, so it's all good. But he's tweeting things and saying things that are pretty,
Gets
close,
attention.
that are pretty close, that are pretty tight, snug things, right? And I like it. And I like this version of Drew. It's a controversial Drew. It's a more relaxed Drew. It seems like more who he really is. It seems like what he's saying are his thoughts, not the thoughts of some wrestler brain. It's not like
not writer.
The motivations of Drew McIntyre are clear and like, okay, and you get it. You get who he is, you get why he is, and it finally works, the Drew McIntyre character.
100%.
And he's jacked, and he's ginormous, and he's still in his 30s, and like there are so many positives right now with Drew McIntyre. He's got a big feud coming with CM Punk when Punk comes back, and it's in Scotland, which is where he's from. So, and he didn't win at the last Clash at the Castle in Wales, where a lot of the wrestling world wanted him to beat Roman Reigns, but he didn't for obvious reasons.
And Damian Priest is not Roman Reigns.
Exactly.
Not even close.
And the world title's not the WWE Undisputed Universal Super Belt of Super Belts, It's just the Raw belt.
Because if Damian Priest wins this and keeps going, then what?
I don't know.
He drops it to
Gunther at SummerSlam.
I don't need that.
I don't need it either. I don't need that clear path because it's a little boring.
Yeah, and they get boring in the summer, and I don't want them to be boring in the summer.
And it's tough to book because they're both heels. How do you book that as a SummerSlam main event? I have always, since this whole thing started, have stood by the idea that it should be a 4-way at SummerSlam. Gunther, Priest, Drew, and Punk. If you can get Punk ready for that, that's where I would go. I would just insert them all. And a good way to do that would be with Drew winning the title here. Maybe Punk costing Priest the belt accidentally. Yeah. I think Punk is there. Apparently Punk is in Glasgow. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's going to get involved in the match. But I could see him costing Priest the belt. Because I have a hard time believing the WWE is going to leave Scotland tomorrow without putting one of those people over with a championship belt. And if you look at that card, we got a lot of Scots in title matches, and not too many of them have a shot at winning. Piper Niven is from Scotland. She's not beating Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship tomorrow afternoon. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. I think Alba Fire is the one from Scotland. She's from Scotland. Is Isla Dawn from Scotland? She had an accent on her. She's also
from Glasgow.
She's from Glasgow, Isla Dawn. They're both Scottish, okay? But the other people in the match are Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who are the champions, and then Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. It's a triple threat. But, like, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, they're not winning. Piper Niven, she's not winning. But Drew McIntyre, he could win. And to say that we're going to go through this big event here in Scotland, no titles are going to change hands, and no Scot is going to win anything, I think Drew's going to win. I think Drew's going to win somehow. No, Fire is not Australian. They're both Scottish. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are both Scottish. I am Scottish!
I was hoping you said that.
It's a callback from last
You have
week.
to hear the last week's show, yeah.
That's right.
I agree with you. There will be a title change, but not in the matches that you listed, though. I think we're going to see a new IC champion.
Thank you.
I'm hoping.
I like it. I mean, but that would just piss the crowd off, John. That's not going to make him happy. Sami Zayn with his red hair, they're going to think he's Scottish. Looks like Groundskeeper Willie, honestly.
He does.
He kind of looks like if any WWE wrestler looks like Groundskeeper Willie, it's Samuel Zayn.
He's not as buff, though.
That's true. He's not as jacked.
I mean, Groundskeeper Willie is like impressively jacked. It goosed me up, woman.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. Good point,
He's
John.
not as
Very good point.
He's like, Sami Zayn is a pro wrestler, but he's like a less jacked Groundskeeper Willie. That is hilarious.
There's nary an animal alive that can outrun a grease Scotsman.
Oh, that's funny in so many ways. Ah!
Said, make way for Willie, you bloated gas bag.
Make way for Willie. Oh,
character.
shit. You think Chad the Gable is going to beat Samuel Zayn? You think his crew is going to help him this time? Otis is going to see the light and attack Samuel, cost him the belt? Samuel Zayn hasn't held the belt for that long. He won it at what? WrestleMania? This is only 2 months for Samuel Zayn. It's a short title run. I don't know if it happens with Chad Gable. I kind of want it to because I like Gable and I would love him to get something at some point. But I don't know if it's this point. You know, I don't know if it's here or maybe the next one. I feel like it's the next one.
The Money in the Banks.
I don't know. I don't think he's winning Money in the Bank, but maybe they have a match of Money in the Bank and he wins it there in Toronto, which would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know? You think Sami loses to Gable, John?
Yeah, if there's a title change, that's the one.
No. Don't say if there's a title. Don't give me a caveat. I want your prediction now. We're predicting.
Oh, no, it's 100%. Yeah, if we're actually predicting here, yeah. I think Gable will become the new IC champion tomorrow.
I'm going with Samuel Zayn. I think he retains.
I'm going with Gable.
Oh.
I think his storyline is better.
Wow.
Okay.
And if he did sign a new contract, I'm sure they gave him a sweetener of some kind. Maybe.
It would be nice to see Gable win a belt. I'd be a little surprised if it happens here, but yeah, you never know. So, back to Drew and Priest. You think Priest retains?
Let's do the other matches because I think we're going to have a lot of the same. This one we might differ.
Let's stay different then. Come on. Why? Why are
Let's
you
stay
jumping
different.
around for me? What are you doing? Why is he messing
Because I
with
think
me?
we're just going to be all the same for the most part, no?
So we'll
This
do
is the main
same for
event.
the rest. That's fine. We can do same. I mean, obviously, Bianca and Jade are retaining. We've already said. Bailey's going to win. And then Cody's going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, those are obvious, John. Who cares about those matches?
Okay.
Those are the jabroni matches on this card. The big matches
I'm
are
glad we got that
Sami
out
and
of the way.
Gable because, yes, it could go either way. And Priest and Drew because, yes, it could go either way. The other matches are like, whatever. It's just there so you could see the stars in Scotland. The crowd gets to see them and chant. The crowd has been super hot, by the way. Good on them for being just on fire for the press conference thing that they did, for the SmackDown tonight, and I'm sure for the show tomorrow they're gonna go bananas. The chanting, they're just in it. They're really, really excited, and you love the European crowds. They're just so electric because they can't believe they're getting all these crazy events, and it's great to see. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that WWE is doing it. I think it's very rough on the wrestlers.
Yeah.
All the travel, I think, is killing these people.
Yeah.
But the fans are loving it, so good for the fan. I'm glad the fans are giving the wrestlers the energy.
Game over.
You know what I mean?
Yankees win.
Yankees win! Oh, John Sterling. I missed that voice.
We didn't hear that last night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I got 2 words for you. Yankees win. 2 more words. Sox lose. John always likes to talk trash about the Yankees when they lose. Like yesterday, he was on the chat when I was doing my show. He's like, "Oh, Yankees lost to the Royals 4-3," which was such a.
And like it was,
they
like,
came back. It was 2-0. They came back 3-2, and then in the 9th they blew it 4-3. And it really sucks.
But they
and
still
John,
won 3 out of 4 games.
Yeah, they still won 3 out of 4.
The
and they
Royals
still,
are a good team.
Yeah, and they still beat the Royals pretty much all the other games, and then. Your Red Sox suck, but you just want to talk trash. So tonight, the fact that we're on together, come on, John, you're gonna hear it.
Yeah, Alex Verdugo.
Oh, that was so good. Verdugo comes in, played for the Red Sox last season. He's with the Yankees now. He comes in, he gets booed by the Fenway fans, and then first pitch. He hits a 2-run home run to take the lead for the Yankees.
He was traded. He had no say in it.
Yeah, he was traded. It's not his fault. 2-run home run, first pitch off the booze, and he's taunting the crowd and he's flexing. Yeah. It was sick. Dukes.
One of the greatest moments I think in Yankee Red Sox history. Remember that brawl they had where Pedro pushed down that fat whale?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was great. Because Pedro just kind of tossed him to the
he
side.
Took his momentum.
Pedro is so elegant.
Because he was running.
And Pedro's just no, this way.
Was it the pitching coach or bench coach?
That was baseball jiu-jitsu. He was the bench coach, I think.
He was the bench coach, Don Zimmer,
yeah.
But, that was amazing.
See, we need more of that in today's game.
No, because
there's bench clearing, bro. You saw Tommy Pham a couple weeks ago.
But Yankees Red Sox, there's no real rivalry right now, John, because the Red Sox aren't good enough for the Yankees to care, and that's just the way it is. They're not good enough to be a rival.
They have in the past.
Yeah, they have been, but right now,
2018,
they're not very good.
They were nasty.
The Dodgers series felt like a rivalry.
Yeah.
That felt intense.
The Phillies are upcoming, I think.
Yeah, the Phillies is going to feel intense.
Orioles.
The Red Sox, the Orioles is big money.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox, for Yankee fans, doesn't feel like a big deal. Maybe for Red Sox fans because it's still the Yankees and they're the best, But for Yankee fans, it doesn't really make a difference. It's whatever, Red Sox. Let's go win 3 easy ones in Boston. Cool. Sweep the Red Sox at Fenway, just embarrass them. Kind of feel bad.
It didn't used to be like that.
That's funny, though.
Jumping the gun. That hasn't happened.
It's about to happen, John.
They shouldn't have traded Mookie Betts.
Isn't Rodon pitching tomorrow?
I agree.
You guys are screwed.
You know who they traded him for, John? Right. You know who was the main piece coming back to Boston? Alex Verdugo.
I missed that. Right.
It was Alex Verdugo.
Yeah, and now he's with the Yankees. And what did they get for him? Peanuts.
Nothing. A guy named Jeter Downs.
Mookie was the franchise player. They really shouldn't have traded him.
They gave up Mookie for Verdugo, and then they got nothing for Verdugo when they traded him. Good job, Red Sox. Good job.
It was Weissert, the reliever.
So I'm picking Drew McIntyre to win this match.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's going to win the championship. I think CM Punk will get involved, and he will somehow cost Damian Priest the belt. The Judgment Day is banned from ringside because Drew McIntyre beat Finn Balor on Raw this week to earn that stipulation.
Right. That's what threw me off was Raw this week. I'm I was kind of with you too. I thought, they'll give it to McIntyre, but after Raw, I'm it's too much in McIntyre's favor. I feel like Priest maybe there would be a DQ screwy finish, but somehow, some way, Priest is going to walk out still champion. I think.
The crowd's gonna hate it.
I think the crowd will be very pissed. I don't know.
But you know what you do?
What?
You have Cody end the show. They love Cody. You saw it tonight.
Yeah, but they won't have any energy for that match if the Drew match already happened.
Oh, I don't know with that. I don't know with that. Cody
That would
was fantastic.
kill the buzz, man.
Especially if Drew loses, they're definitely gonna be like upset. Like,
That's
kinda...
what I would do, like a Lex Luger Yokozuna kind of finish.
Double
that,
count
like
out.
SummerSlam. That was actually one count out at SummerSlam.
Right.
And that Luger won, the balloons came down, but he didn't win the title.
So you have Drew win by count out.
Count out or just Punk interfere. It's DQ. He still wins.
That would suck.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is
That
the
would
greatest.
suck. That's
They're
a
in
cheap
the corner.
That's a cheap finish.
Especially after the Wales event.
Yeah,
If this was the first time they were coming, maybe.
Yes.
But because they've already done this once before,
Yes.
I think, and they're in Scotland, like they're in the proper place. I don't know. It's just you can't deny it.
And like he didn't get his WrestleMania moment when he won the belt for the first time because it was COVID and there was no people, and he held the belt and he did. He was a good company man. And then when he did win the belt at WrestleMania, it was immediately taken away from him from Damian cashing in Money in the Bank, so he never really got his moment. This would be
bigger.
The moment of all moments for him in his career. This would be massive, and he just signed a new contract with WWE, and he's probably gonna job to Punk because Punk hasn't actually won any matches since coming back to WWE, right? He was in the Rumble, he got hurt, and he hasn't done anything else. He hasn't wrestled.
He wrestled a house show match against Dom.
Yeah, well, that's it. But like that doesn't count. Like you would think if Punk is coming back to wrestle Drew at some point, that Punk would win the first one at least.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what do you have with Punk? I think he's got to win his first match back. So give Drew this moment. But the problem is, though, you kind of admit that the Priest run is not working and maybe it was a misstep to give him the belt in the first place. Because taking the title off of him after 2 months, you could claim like, oh, this was always the plan, and we knew at WrestleMania when we screwed Drew that this would lead to the match because we had this Glasgow show booked and we had it all set, right? Like they could claim that the Priest move was just, kind of a placeholder so that Drew could get the real moment in his home country. But it also, like, even if it was their plan, the optics of it, the wrestling world will look at Damian Priest as they gave you the belt for 2 months. You did nothing with it. Dominic and Liv Morgan outshine you on Raw, which you mentioned to me before the show. He's like, Dominic and Liv are, they're getting more social media buzz. Those are the people are talking about because they have the more interesting story on Raw because Rhea Ripley went down with an injury and now this thing has started and it's organic and it's interesting and it's fun. And then Damian Priest is just kind of there. He's like on Raw, kind of bossing the Judgment Day around for some reason. His promos are awkward, not as strong as Drew's for sure. And he seems out of place too especially when you put him in a ring with, like, if you put him in the ring with Drew, Punk, Gunther, and then you got Priest there. It's like,
and he's the champ. It's like, well, you're dropping it.
Yeah. Promo-wise, even match-wise, like, he's not a bad wrestler.
No.
But, like, I'm not excited to see that match tomorrow.
No.
He's no Will Ospreay.
No.
He's no Bryan Danielson. He's no Bret the Hitman Hart.
And I understand your concern about, like, WWE maybe wanting to, like, save face, and, like, they don't want to, like, have the optics.
Admit that Priest was a failure.
But if I just have a flash. Back after WrestleMania 26, Chris Jericho at Mania 26 beat Edge for the championship. And then, like, the next night on SmackDown or something, lost to Jack Swagger, who had won the Money in the Bank at Mania. And they had him have, like, an eagle mascot. and it just wasn't working.
It's terrible.
And I think they pulled the plug after maybe 2 months, I think. So
sometimes they
Damian
try.
Priest and Jack Swagger, kind of similar boats. Swagger's a better wrestler.
Yeah.
But, just kind of, we get this guy, a bit of a run a bit after Mania and that thing. Money in the Bank thing too, so.
And also, you got to imagine that no matter what the plans were with Priest, Rhea Ripley figured into it somehow.
100%.
And with her out of the picture, and then this new dynamic with the Judgment Day and Carlito hanging around, and Liv Morgan, and Dominic, and all this stuff, it's like, okay, well, the plans have changed in a way for Priest. We don't know what the original plans were, but for sure Rhea Ripley was going to be involved somehow.
Yeah.
Because
she was the one in charge.
She was the leader of the Judgment Day, so something was going to happen. They were going to break up. There was going to be something going on, but that's all been kind of put on hold, and I don't know if Priest's title reign lasts until Mommy returns. So I would take the belt off Priest here. I think that there are better options. I don't think Priest is doing a phenomenal job with the belt. I think he's fine there, but, yikes.
Yeah. Seth Rollins was doing more.
He was. And that's saying a lot, because Seth Rollins really wasn't doing a ton with it.
No, but it was more.
Yeah. I don't know, John. It's a tough question, right?
You guys make a lot of great points.
Yeah.
A lot of great points, and it's hard to disagree with a lot of it. The main thing I have is I think it's a better story if Punk screws over McIntyre here. Like you said, you build him up for this, but then Punk takes that away from him. I think it's a better story to have Punk versus McIntyre after the fact.
Yeah. It'd be tough. People in Scotland would be real mad at CM Punk. He'd never be able to go back to that country.
They'll survive. They'll be okay. They'll live.
Yeah.
I love the idea here. No one from Scotland's going to win any titles. I love it.
They're giving them so
Hopefully
many chances. You would think one of them would come through.
And they're emphasizing it too.
I think they got to go with Drew, man. There's so many reasons. I feel like if you list all the reasons that I just put out there, there's more for Drew. Like the pros and cons, I think you got to go. There's more reasons to go with Drew than there are to go with Priest. You could have a controversial finish with Punk involved, which will keep Priest involved in the world title picture. He can have a rematch clause, whatever. Gunther already has the shot at SummerSlam because he won King of the Ring. And Punk is involved because him and Drew have the thing, have the beef. Maybe Punk can even win Money in the Bank. Like, there's a lot of moving parts there. And I think they make more sense if Drew's the champion. Because if he's not, then you just have Drew and Punk doing grudge match.
Yeah.
And Priest and Gunther for the belt, which is...
Because we have to.
Which is not super exciting, I don't think. It's like, oh, do they crown Gunther or not? That's really the question going in. It's like, are they going to give it to Gunther here? Are they going to make him the new champion or not? And they're both heels. Like I said, it'd be a tough way to build. I don't know. I think Drew is the guy to go with right now. I'm going with Drew McIntyre to win. Johnny North thinks Damian Priest will win. Antoinette, who's been a member now for 3 years. Thank you, Antoinette, for supporting the channel. She has jumped into the YouTube chat and has gifted a membership to Big Cheese Bob Burgers.
Oh, Big Cheese.
So welcome Big Cheese Bob Burgers to the membership over at join.ringsidereport.net. Antoinette has been a member for 3 years. Thank you for sticking with us, Antoinette. You are the best out in Toronto. Although I think you're in maybe Mississauga now, just outside of Toronto, but it's still the GTA. You're in the GTA. And I'm not talking about Grand Theft Auto, baby. I'm talking about the greater Toronto area. Franco316 in the chat. I saw Leor in the chat. Angelo Contagones, Antoinette, Ryan Katz, Jimmy James. Look at all these members. Look at all these green names.
It's like the NWO out there.
That's right, brother. Sebastian Rouillard in the chat. I mean, it's just great to see all the members in the chat on a Friday night. Great to see you all. Mississauga, still the 6. Is it still the 416 area code, though, Antoinette? Isn't it like a different area code? Is it still 416 in Mississauga?
7%.
Welcome.
Or is it like, it's not 904, is it? What is it?
I don't know.
Yo, you know Montreal has like a new area code? I saw that somewhere. There's like a new local area code. You know, because it was always 514, and then they added the 438.
Yeah.
Which is real
Right, yeah.
whack. I hate 438.
I don't want to know you.
If you have a 438 phone number, like I never want to call you. I don't like it. I don't like 438. If you have 514, I know you're an OG. If you have 438, you're like, where are you from, man? Are you from? Oh, Antoinette still has 416. Yeah, because you have it from Toronto, right? You brought it over. But like, what's the general area code in Mississauga? Is it 416? Because like we got 438, we got 450. Johnny North comes from the 450 area, right?
But I have 514 now.
Yeah, now you got 514. Now you're cool.
Now,
Been blessed.
You know? Like our parents are thinking about giving up their home phone line, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I need that number. Give me that number.
That's an all-time number.
That's an NDG number. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a solid phone number. 514, baby. 514 or go fuck yourself. I don't like anything else. There's a new one though. What is it? New.
I think Angelo just said it.
Angelo has it? 263. I think it's in effect, maybe. And then they're adding 345. What the hell is 354
354.
in the outskirts of the city, adding to the 450 and 579. What the hell's 579? I never seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen 450. I never seen no 579. 354. No, because I've seen 514. And then I started seeing 438 maybe, 10, 15 years ago? How long's 438 been in effect?
Yeah, at least 10 years.
Right? At least. Probably more, though, John. We say 10 years just to, like, be, like, a long time.
Yeah.
It's probably been, like, 25 or something. You know what I mean?
It's like since 1998.
Yeah. Oh, 438's been around since 1982. Like, what? No, it hasn't. But 438 is bullshit. I hate 438. And then 263, man, if you have a 263 area, like, but that's local. Like, you don't have to do one when you call it. It's just two, because you don't have to do one when you dial 438. You can just 438, da-da-da.
Yeah, it's not a long distance.
But, like, 263 is going to be one of those now. Before it was 514 only. Then they added. But I remember when you just had to dial 7 numbers.
Yeah, I remember that before that. Yeah.
You just dialed 7 numbers, and then it got you to your friend's house.
Yeah,
and you're like,
if you're in like Toronto or
and
something.
then you go,
call 514.
hey, and then the parents would answer. You go, hey, is my friend home?
Yeah.
Is Ariel home?
Yeah. Is Evan around?
Yeah, exactly.
But if they're using the internet, then can't get through.
Yeah, it was busy. It was annoying, man. But they're adding 263, John. 263. Crazy. I don't like it.
Well, it's good to know it's not spam. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's real. 263. If you see that, it's somebody with a phone number apparently in the local area. Like you could be in Montreal and have a phone locally, and it could be 263 area code.
It's strange.
It sucks.
Strange.
I remember when I first started seeing 438, I was like, "What the hell is this? Some sort of 450?" And I was like, "No, it's local." I'm like, "What?"
That's why.
514 is the only one. I didn't know you could have multiple local area codes in one area. That's when you know there's too many people. Too many phones, at least. 514.
People got to get off the island.
Huh?
People got to get off the island. It's getting too crowded.
There is no escape.
That's right. Goddamn. Sebastian Rouillard, who is 514, he gifted a membership to Andrew G. Thank you, Sebastian. Welcome, Andrew G.
Oh.
To the channel. 514, baby. You have 514.
I do.
I have 514. But 438. No bueno. No bueno.
Whatever shall you do.
Our father has a very good cell phone number. I'm not going to give it out.
No.
But it's like
it's a great number.
It's a 514 and then it's like it's just good. It's just
like
it's
if
so
you
memorable.
had a pizza restaurant and that was your number, like
Everybody would remember
it.
Yeah. Our dad has the best cell phone number.
I think I remember he had a story about how he got it. Like he saw it, it's like I want this one.
It's excellent. And he's had it forever.
Yeah.
He had it when maybe it was a car phone. You know what I mean?
Wow.
At least like the early 2000s.
Yo, we had a car phone in the 90s.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome.
Remember that?
Wow.
Yeah, you couldn't hear shit on it. It was terrible, but it would exist.
It was there.
Once in a while, you could make a phone call on it, and it kind of worked. It was dope. All right. I had a cell phone like in the late 90s. I had like a big Nokia brick phone with my pager.
I remember your pager.
Oh, Paul Heyman.
Yeah. Well, not quite. It wasn't the big flip with the antenna. It was like it's actually small. It was actually smaller than my current phone. You know?
Okay.
Thicker obviously, but like probably shorter. Maybe the same height, but like more narrow. Kind of like a remote control. Kind of like the size of this remote control over here. But thicker.
In the early 2000s. Wow.
I'd say even late 90s.
That's amazing. For that time frame to have that?
I think my first cell phone was maybe late 90s, early 2000s, right? I'm thinking.
That sounds about.
I was in like high school, maybe like, yeah. Yeah, I would say late 90s, early 2000s. I had a cell phone. All right? My father would know what year he gave me that cell phone, the Nokia phone.
Yeah. Did it have like little like glow green kind of thing?
Yeah.
Little glow in the dark kind of.
It had snakes on it, too. Little games.
Oh, yeah.
Snakes.
Snakes.
Yeah, it was dope.
Minesweeper, maybe?
Maybe. I played Snakes.
Yeah, Snakes was good.
Can we get back to Clash of the Castle? This is really,
I mean...
We covered everything, no?
Have we?
Is
Okay,
there anything
so
else?
we're going with Sami. Let's recap. We're all going with Bayley to beat Piper Niven. We don't expect too much out of this match. It is what it is. You think Chad Gable's going to win. You think Chad Gable's going to win. New Intercontinental Champion. I think Samuel Zayn will retain the Intercontinental Championship somehow. I think he'll convince Otis not to do the bad thing.
The bad thing.
That's right. Cody Rhodes will obviously beat AJ Styles in the I Quit match. I thought their promo tonight was really good. The crowd was into it. AJ Styles telling AJ, you quit WWE, you quit New Japan, you quit Ring of Honor, you started your own company with your friends, and you quit that too. It's funny how they can say New Japan and Ring of Honor owned by the same person who owns AEW, but they don't say AEW. They say New Japan, which, is about to do Forbidden Door with AEW. Like, they're willing to say every other company's name but AEW, which is super odd. Like, even Cody, when he brings it up, he's like, yes, I did a thing with my friends, and then I left. And it's like, what was the thing called there, Cody? It was called a wrestling company. It was a revolution. But what? It was...
I was all in.
It was all what? All what? What? It's really odd to me.
They're AJ's friends, too.
Like, WWE, in the post-Vince era, is more open to acknowledging pro wrestling outside of the WWE bubble, but there's still that thing where they're like, yeah, we're not going to say AEW, We'll say Ring of Honor or New Japan. We don't mind if people hear that and go, ooh, what's this? Let's Google this. But if we say AEW, then we're screwed. Like, what? It's weird.
You said it.
They own Ring of Honor, though. Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor.
Kind of weird. Like, it's the same thing, basically, is it not?
Yeah. It's strange.
It runs on the same show. We watched it together. Like, Collision, it was ROH, and then it was AEW, and then it was ROH again.
Yeah.
How it runs.
Yeah.
It's all the same people.
It's the same company. What the hell? It's so weird. Like, what? Just say it, dude. Because when we watch it, you go...
It brings more attention.
And it just makes it seem...
Like, not a good way.
It makes it, like... Because they're supposed to be having this intense conversation, but they're not saying the thing. Like, they're staying corporate. And they're both playing the same game.
Yeah.
Like, they're both like... Hey, buddy, we're not saying AEW because we're not allowed.
Yeah.
But, we're unhinged and we're mad at each other.
I'm gonna be off the cuff.
But there's that element of fakeness, which kills the reality of the intensity between the two guys.
Yeah.
Because you go, oh, I'm buying it, but, they're playing a character. They're playing a game. This is because they're not saying AEW, because if they were really pissed at each other, they'd be saying...
Yeah, you went to start AEW with my friends, the Young Bucks.
That's it. Like, you you let it fly. But they're
That'd be great.
yeah, but they're not because they're keeping it careful. For
Strange.
For it, I don't
They
even
have no
understand.
reason.
It doesn't really make sense.
It's
to
not
me.
WCW.
No.
Even they mentioned WCW. You know, they had the Billionaire Ted sketches. They let Jim Cornette say WCW and all the stuff. You know, like they didn't necessarily stray away.
Different time though, different era.
Different time, and they were kind of the underdog.
Yeah.
Money wise,
Yeah.
they were the underdog. At a certain point, ratings wise, they were the underdog. Like they were kind of business was not as good. They weren't this giant corporation that they are right now.
No, they were just starting kind of like.
Now they're looking down at AEW like,
Yeah.
Psh, get out of here. Back then, they're punching up.
Yeah.
So they can mention WCW. If they say AEW.
I'll write a Billionaire Tony sketch.
But, I mean, Cody Rhodes, yeah, it'd be funny. Cody
Kicked a
Rhodes
lot
goes
there.
on NXT this week, and they have this segment like he runs into Sean Spears,
Yeah.
who's there, and he's like, hey, I'm going to win the NXT title. And Cody's like, cool, man. And then Ethan Page comes in, and he's like, ooh, what about me, Cody? I thought we were friends. And then Brian Pillman Jr. comes in, and he's like, hey, I'm going to win. And it's like they all kind of look at each other, and WWE put it on their Twitter and their Instagram.
Look at this
and they
elite
did it.
gathering.
And it's like, yeah, exactly. Hey, how come we know each other from somewhere? Like they want to talk about it so much, and they allude to it so much, but for some reason they can't say the three letters AEW. It's just weak.
Yeah.
It can't be a legal thing because they're saying Ring of Honor.
It's pettiness, I find, in the end, but that's the way they want to play. That's fine. The only thing I really saw from NXT is that Sexy Red get into like a brawl before she actually got there and got arrested. Did you see that?
Yeah, at the airport, she fought some people. Hey, she's a real wrestler, brother. She's just getting into character.
That was
Sexy
awesome.
Red.
I think that was better than anything on NXT. That setup looked terrible, by the way. Like, no offense to your UFC Apex, but that looked like garbage, to be honest, for like a wrestling setup. Like,
I don't own the UFC
Yeah.
Apex. What do I give a shit? I hate the Apex. What are you talking about?
well, I thought
UFC
maybe you liked the
Apex.
Apex.
Who likes the
thought you were a
Apex?
fan.
It's terrible. I hate fight nights at the Apex are the worst. You know why the UFC does shows at the Apex? I could
Free?
really break it down for you if you want to know. The UFC did shows at the Apex at first because it was a closed off area where they could still hold fights because of COVID, but that shit's long over. They're still holding shows at the Apex. You know why? Because they're contractually obligated to run a certain amount of shows for ESPN.
Oh,
Problem is, they don't have enough good fights to put on that people will buy tickets for in arenas.
right.
So they run shows at the Apex in front of nobody, in front of VIPs, Mark Zuckerberg or whoever. It's like 200 people in there. And they don't have to sell tickets, and they run garbage shows. Like the show tomorrow, it's garbage. Trash. They have entire events filled with no-name jabronis that they can run at the Apex because ESPN has a deal where the UFC has to provide content. So they're providing content. It's trash content that no one anywhere in the world will buy a ticket for. No one. Especially not at UFC ticket prices. Like, UFC is not cheap. They don't run like $10 tickets. You know what I mean? It's expensive to go to a UFC show. If they ran this show they're doing tomorrow night, the Perez versus Tyra show, anywhere in the world, they would sell 0 tickets. Like, it's
Or it'd be
trash.
like an arena that looks a lot worse.
It would be horrible. It would be so bad. They can't do it. So that's the Apex, John. It's a dead crowd for a dead show. That's what the Apex is now. I couldn't believe the WWE was going there. It was like, why? Place sucks. But it looks a lot like the NXT arena, the arena thing they do there at wherever, Performance Center, wherever they do their shows. Is it at Full Sail still? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Where's
Instead of
NXT?
spacing, though. It's somewhere in Florida. Yeah.
Is it at
Like,
the
it's better
Performance Center?
spacing.
Do they
It's a-
film it
I
there?
thought
think
I
so.
thought it was at the Performance Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But like, there's better spacing there. Like, the spacing looked really bad, and for me, it just looked kind of cheap for what it was. Like, I was expecting something like elaborate, great lighting. Like, it looked kind of rough looking, to be honest.
I didn't watch it. When was it?
Well, I only saw the clips they showed on Raw.
Oh,
I'm like, oof, this looks bad.
yeah. Who's watching NXT?
Well, and there's a big question. Like, why do you have Shayna Baszler, who's going to be on a PLE tomorrow, losing on NXT? Like, where was the sense in that?
All right, she lost.
And, like, that pit match, whatever, the underground match they used to have. Like, apparently she lost one of those matches. Like, why lose that? Then win on Raw, beat one of the tag teams so that they've never won a match going into the big match. So Fire and Dawn have never won, and then they go in with a loss going into this match. I honestly think they have the best chance out of everyone from Scotland just because they're the biggest underdogs, I think.
They are huge underdogs. And didn't you tell me that one of them, their mother just died in a car crash in Florida?
Fire, yeah.
God,
There could be they might just give a title change just for that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Zoe Stark.
I mean, that's a horrible story.
They don't take anything away from Bianca and Jade, technically.
Yeah. I would. It wouldn't be impossible. I'm not expecting it, but it's kind of like I didn't expect Liv to win last time, but I'm like I wouldn't be surprised, and it happened. So
yeah.
Again with this too.
Give it to Fire and Dawn, man. What the hell? Who cares?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hey, The Rock is teasing a massive match for WrestleMania next year in Las Vegas. Wow. You know he's gonna wrestle. I think the only question is what's the match? Is it him and Cody or is it him and Roman? I think it's him and Cody.
I thought he was injured though. I thought apparently he got hurt.
He got hurt.
That in the movie.
The Mark
his elbow or something.
Oh.
Yeah, he got injured.
Well, WrestleMania is a long way away.
Well, I guess we're not going to see him until then.
That's fine. Him and Cody, I think, is the match at Mania. I think him and Cody night 1, winner faces Roman night 2. And Rock wins. Rock wins, becomes champion, and then drops it to the tribal chief on night 2, brother. And then everything's right in the world, and Roman's back on top.
It's not bad, but really, like, Rock's going to beat Cody 2 WrestleManias in a row?
Yeah.
Wow.
The final boss.
I mean, it's The Rock. Boss. Makes sense.
Yeah, but Cody got one over on him when he beat Roman.
He got something over on The Rock because he beat somebody else. Sure.
Actually, Undertaker.
Yeah, I guess Undertaker.
That's right.
He saved the day. Maybe you do a tag night 1. Rock and Roman again versus Cody and Taker, brother.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's very early. I think last year you had LA winning the Rumble, and like it's a good pick to win the Rumble. But you know, as we see, by the time we get to January, a lot of things can change. So,
Money in the Bank is next month too. That's a big one.
I know you have LA.
Well, LA might win. Who will win?
Who's in it first? Let's wait and see. By the way, the ladder match they've made it that it's a 6-way because there's more shadow figures, so it's a 6-way that ladder match at Forbidden Door.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Money in the Bank. I got confused there.
Yeah, that's why I say Forbidden Door.
Okay, 6-man ladder match for Edge's TNT belt, right? Because it's vacant.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. Got that one right. Okay, anything else in WWE world that we should cover? Oh, Rick O'Shea, his WWE contract done. He's leaving the WWE. He got beat up by Braun Breaker on Raw and taken away in an ambulance. He's, wrestling injured, but actually just leaving the company, and everybody expects him to show up in AEW. It makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there's a spot for him there, and I think he would be fun with that roster.
I feel like this has been like a year in the making. Like, I felt like I said this like a year ago, like with that Logan Paul thing, like this is the peak for Ricochet right here. Is this, and then they had nothing else for him, and you could just tell throughout that whole year, it's like that was it, just to build that match, and then he's just another guy. And sure, they gave him the Twitter title, and that was a nice little thing, but on actual television, like he was just a joke all the time. He's always losing. And I think in the end, for him, he'd rather do 10, 20-minute matches instead of like 5-minute matches where he gets destroyed.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I would make the move if I were him, because WWE, he's just going to stay in the spot that he's in forever. They clearly have no intention of moving him higher up on the card. So why not?
You might get to wrestle Will Ospreay again.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun things. I think he definitely will get to wrestle Will Ospreay again in AEW. I think there's a lot of fun matches for him to have, and possibly more room to grow and just do stuff in wrestling. And if the money is right, then make the move. I think it's tough though, because his girlfriend, fiance, whatever, she works for WWE. I mean, that might not be so easy, but it is what it is.
Business.
It's not the first time.
It
Happened
happens
before with other couples, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. Like,
Naomi
what do
left
you think about
WWE.
this?
She went to TNA, and Jimmy Uso stayed in WWE. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Things happen.
Yep, that's for sure. But what about Ricochet versus Ospreay at Wembley? Like, I could see that match happening if his contract expires by then.
If Ospreay is the champion, I don't know.
Well, I mean, a lot depends on Forbidden Door, right? Because you think he might win the world title. It's not impossible.
I don't think he's gonna.
This
I don't think he's gonna.
I don't think he's going.
Let's
He'll be champion. He'll be international.
I think he'll be international champion, but I don't think he's going to be the world champion. I don't think he's beaten Swerve. Swerve's promo on Ospreay this week was just really intense. Really intense. Really good. In his face. You're a kid. You don't have the killer instinct. You're not ready for this. Like, he was just... And Ospreay just looked like he was going to cry. It was, like, goddamn intense, man. Swerve took it to a different place with Will Ospreay, and I really liked it. There's a lot of different levels to Swerve, different aspects of his personality that come out at different times. He's layered, like he's complex. I really like Swerve Strickland, and the more we see him featured as a main eventer, the more he grows into like a real main eventer. You're like, oh shit, this guy's got. There's, it's not just surface level. There's more there. There's more, and you're like, oh, okay, let's see. Like, you like what you see at first, and then when they start to really focus, and you could pay attention, because he's not just another guy having a match here or there. He's the champion. He's the focus of the company, and everybody's kind of paying attention to him, and he's doing excellent work. Like, the spotlight is on him, and he's just delivering. And the stuff he's saying to Ospreay, I think he's setting the stage for Ospreay to lose. Because he's saying, the killer instinct, you're just a kid, all this stuff.
You're not a killer.
And Ospreay, if you remember, he retired that Tiger Driver that he did to Bryan Danielson because he almost killed him in the match, and he felt bad. And I think we're going to come to a point where Ospreay has Swerve in that position, but hesitates, doesn't go for it. Swerve will take advantage, and he'll win. And that's kind of what Swerve is saying, and that's how it will all play out. And it really feels like that's where we're going. So I think Swerve is going to hold on to the belt at Forbidden Door. I was kind of torn on it, but after seeing the promo this week, it kind of clicked. I was like, yeah, I think there's a way out here with Ospreay and what he's done, retiring a move, and then Swerve saying no killer instinct. It's like, oh, okay, I get what's going on here. Are you reading the same thing that I am, John, or what? How do you feel about it?
No, I think you're completely right about that. The only thing, though, I feel the fans are more behind Ospreay, though.
Yeah.
Like, when he held both titles, they want that. They want that more than having Swerve as champion. So I think that might be a bit of an issue. If Ospreay gets too over, it's like, I mean, he's the most over guy. I mean, you should give him the title.
Fickle.
Well, that's true. Fans are.
Fickle. As the great Bryan Danielson once said, fickle.
That was a great run.
Fickle. Just yelling fickle at the fans. That was goddamn brilliant. And it's true because, they may want Ospreay to win the championship, but they wanted Swerve to beat Joe real bad. And as soon as Ospreay wins the championship, they're going to want MJF to take it from him. So fickle. Swerve just won. When did he win? Like a month ago? 2 months ago?
He won a dynasty.
It's
It was
not
in
time
April.
yet. It's not time yet. April. Come on.
Yeah. No, he should have a longer run.
Swerve, and a win over Will Ospreay really cements Swerve as the world champion. If you beat Will Ospreay and you're the first guy in AEW to beat Will Ospreay and it's in a world title match and a main event at Forbidden Door, that cements you as the world champion. Especially when Jon Moxley is going to drop his world championship on the same night to Tetsuya Naito. They announced that match, too, at Forbidden Door. Moxley, Naito, rematch. I think Naito takes it back to Japan.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, New Japan has to win some matches, because I don't know about you, it feels like they're going to lose most of the matches. So it makes sense that Naito would win at least the title.
I love Tetsuya Naito. I'm excited that he's on that card. It's a hell of a show. So I believe that Will Ospreay will not win the championship yet. I think at some point he'll be the AEW World Champion, but not here. I really like Swerve, and I think Swerve will retain. We also have Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, who qualified this week on Dynamite, right? Jack Perry beat
Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes. Right.
Nice booking there.
I didn't mind the match. The problem I had is that Jack Perry threw Dustin right into the exposed buckle, right in front of the referee. And again, they just don't understand how to referee matches, sadly. That's DQ.
John's problem with the match is they cheated. They broke the rules. My problem with the match was, hey, this is to qualify for a ladder match, title match on pay-per-view, and they put Dustin Rhodes in the match thinking, oh, I wonder who's going to win this one. I'm bored because the outcome is obvious. John is like, they didn't follow the rules. Gee, Willikers. Fucking hell, John.
Well, I can say the same thing with, I think it was Lyra against Io. I'm sure you liked that match, but that was ridiculous, where it's like you had interference, fine. Then you had to do the hair pull right in front of the referee that led to the pin. Again, just horrible officiating all across both shows.
I think you're allowed to pull hair in ladies wrestling.
Yeah.
It's one of the maneuvers.
No, you're not allowed to pull hair.
You are. You are.
Like the hair toss.
Io can do whatever the hell she wants, Johnny North.
Well, I know you like her a lot, but that was cheap. Especially because you already have you have an interference already. Like, you need that as well?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, they're trying to make Lyra Valkyria, look strong.
Cheapens the matches.
The Elite came out to talk to Swerve to kick off Dynamite this week. They talked about a big match that they're going to have, Blood and Guts. And they announced
24th?
it. Right?
July 24th, I think,
July
right?
24th. And they wanted Swerve to be with them in this Blood and Guts. July 24th on Dynamite, right?
5-on-5, that's why.
Yeah. They wanted Swerve because it has to be 5-on-5. So they have Matthew and Nicholas, Okada, and Jungle Boy. So they got 4. They need a 5th man. They wanted Swerve to be their 5th man, and Swerve didn't seem too down with that idea.
He threw the shoes in the crowd.
But they're so concerned about a 5th man, I'm not clear on who their opponents are going to be.
Is it the BCC again?
Do they have opponents?
No, they didn't say. They just said whoever AEW had. But it won't be FTR because apparently Dax is out now. So
yeah, he's hurt.
FTR bald.
Couldn't they use FTR hair in the match? Like, he could be there. It's part of Team AEW.
Cash Wheeler is very good, but for whatever reason, he only seems to do tag matches. We never really see him in single matches, right? Only Dax did the single matches.
I think if one of the FTRs get hurt, they should just team with Mark Briscoe until their other guy comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I thought Mark Briscoe was fantastic this week on Dynamite. They need to have him on more often. Yeah. He should be on more often. He was very good.
Yeah, he's entertaining. He's a fun promo. He's like a American bushwhacker is the only way I can describe his promo style. He's like an American bushwhacker in 2024, because the bushwhackers are like New Zealanders, right? But he's like American bushwhacker style. He looks like a bushwhacker, kind of talks like a bushwhacker with like promo style. Whoa! You know, he's just like real loud and crazy.
He'll look someone's face.
Yeah, he's like a southern bushwhacker. I like him. He's fun. Good promo.
He helped make that 6-man. I wasn't really interested in that or that whole promo, but once he started talking, I'm like, okay, now I care.
Mm-hmm. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy got a win over Kyle Fletcher, Roderick Strong, and Konosuke Takeshita.
No, wait, they lost.
Oh, yeah, sorry, they lost. Yeah, Fletcher got the win. Sorry. On Briscoe. Pin Briscoe.
And the world champion, the ROH world champion. So more than likely, Kyle Fletcher. I could see him at Death for Dishonor. We'll probably get a title shot. I know you're really excited for the next ROH pay-per-view.
Death before Dishonor. Wow. Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe for the world title. Let me cancel all my plans, John.
Oh, my God. I was going to watch the Yankees, but...
Yeah, I was going to do literally anything else. When is that? Death
I think it's
before
probably going to be on... It's on usually like a Friday, so you might have to miss a show now.
Friday.
Oh yeah, well I'll definitely watch SmackDown instead of that. It won't be as good, but I don't want to go through the effort of finding Ring of Honor or even possibly paying for a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Would that be the case?
I guess so.
Well, you have to actually get the Ring of Honor like subscription to get the pay-per-view.
Oh. God damn, that was when I remember when Tony Khan announced he was buying Ring of Honor. I was like, this is such a dumb move.
I was like, oh, you're gonna dissolve it? You're gonna do it for the tape library? No, we're gonna run shows. What?
Yeah, we're gonna use AEW guys and like
it's gonna be great.
Here comes Cesaro. He's for Ring of Honor.
And I shitted all over the whole idea. And guess what? Like a year, or whatever, however many.
2 years.
It's been a while, and it sucks. They haven't done anything with it.
Who cares?
It's been a bad move to keep it going. They should have dissolved it immediately. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
I like Samoa Joe and Hook together, kind of. I thought they're kind of funny, promo-wise. They beat a couple jabronis in a tag team match. They're a tag team now, Hook and Joe. And I also like Chris Jericho. I think Jericho is fantastic. The Learning Tree stuff. Big Bill. The new guy, the Bad Apple. Jericho is fantastic. I don't so much like the guys they're feuding with, but I think they'll just beat those guys and then they'll move along. The what do they call Private Party?
Private Party?
Their promo wasn't super exciting, but Jericho is great.
It's really what Jericho said to them, that was the best part, no? Like, because like he kind of said stuff that was kind of shooty, like almost, where it's like they're not really good wrestlers, and like that's been a critique of them. Like he was kind of being like,
you
truthful.
don't even climb the top rope right, and then he showed him how to climb the top rope. He's like, I was trained by the late great Stu Hart, and it's like he knows that's a lie. He wasn't at all.
No.
But they always kind of say he's like a dungeon product, but he wasn't. And he knows that, and he admits that. But it's part of the.
Was it Smith Hart School he went to try?
No, it wasn't even. It was called Hart Brothers. It was some guys that were affiliated loosely, but it wasn't actually. I don't think there was maybe a Hart brother that showed up, but it was like not really run by the Harts where he was trained. And it was called Hart Brothers, but it wasn't in the dungeon.
No.
Like it was none of that. He wasn't trained by Stu. Like he wasn't part of that.
He didn't wrestle for Stampede.
No, that's it. He wasn't part of all that. But it's been kind of attributed to him over the years because of the Hart Brothers thing. So there was confusion, but he has kind of cleared it up. But of course, when he's cutting promos, he adds to the confusion because he's like, I was trained by Stu Hart. Owen Hart showed me how to climb the ropes. And it's like, no, none of this happened. These are all lies. And he's telling the lies. And I'm sure a lot of wrestling fans are like, oh, I guess that's true, right? But like John and I know each other. John and I are watching the show knowing Chris Jericho inside and out. We
read the book.
We know Chris Jericho's life more than the lives of many of our family members. You know what I mean? we know too much about Chris Jericho, so we know what he's saying is like, well, he wasn't actually trained by Stu, and Owen could never have taught him how to do that because Owen was here and Jericho was here, and it never happened. And we know that Jericho has said that, it's not true, but I thought it was very funny. So, John, I know you were seeing that and going, Jericho, what are you saying? It was funny.
Like, it's a new version of, like, the highlight reel. It's just a different kind of take on a different kind of character in a sense. I just like what he can do with this. Like, there's so much more he can do. It's not just about the other characters, which add too. Brian Keith's all right. Big Bill's good too. But really, Jericho's the focus, and that's what it needs to be. I feel like when he got the other groups, it got too, like, spread out. Like, oh, we got to focus on Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
We got to focus on Sammy Guevara. No. Jericho's the star. The other guys are just side attractions. Yeah. That's the way it should be.
These guys know that they're goons for Jericho, and they've accepted that role.
Hired goons.
Exactly.
They know their role, and they shut their mouth, just as they should. They're getting TV time, which is the name of Jericho's segment. TV time. I know. Does everybody want more TV time? I know I do. And that's like his opening line. Like, it's so funny, man. He's so funny. This character right now is killing it. He's like... he's having another resurgence. The promo again this week was fantastic.
I like the T-shirt. I don't know if you guys caught the T-shirt that he had there. It looks pretty good.
What did it say?
It's just this high guy. It's him waving and saying "Hi guys" on the T-shirt.
Is this Jericho saying "Hi guys"?
Yeah.
Oh, Jericho, constantly reinventing himself.
That's great.
He's never out of moves.
Hi guys.
Like you said, I think it's top selling shirt right now. It probably isn't top selling shirt, but whatever. He can just say that. But I think it's one of the better shirts. It's one of the better shirts he's had in a while, I think.
I'm trying to find it, but AEW's shop is just impossible to navigate. Oh, there it is.
That's not bad. Looks like a beer logo.
Hi guys, the learning tree. It's funny. It's funny. Okay, Johnny North. We've covered all the things. How about WCW? Death of WCW. Bret Hart just shitting all over Goldberg this week.
Wait,
fantastic.
Before we go to that, we missed the match, which was pretty good on Dynamite. It was Mercedes against Zeus.
Duxus.
Something like that, yes.
Good. Yeah, Mercedes.
I really enjoyed
wrestler.
that match.
Yeah, Duxus is pretty good. Duxus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
That was very good. And I thought Rey Fenix, Will Ospreay, fantastic main event.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's very much a Cirque du Soleil match, but that's like top quality Cirque du Soleil. And there was a bit of selling involved. It goes to show, like, if you sell in those kind of matches, it makes them really good.
Yeah. And Ospreay, I mean, everything Ospreay is doing right now is just gold, right? He's not having a bad match.
Like, he invented a move on the fly. That was amazing. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Yeah, he kind of caught Phoenix weird, and then he kind of flipped him over and dropped him, and he said later, he's like, yeah, I don't know, it didn't work out, but then I reversed, and I'm going to pick him up instead and drop him, and it was...
That's when you know you're really good. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's, this might be like the peak Will Ospreay.
Good timing.
Which is saying a lot. You know what I mean? Like, he's been very, very good for so long, but this might be the very best that he is. And he may be getting better, possibly?
He's only going to get better, I think.
Yeah. And he's wrestled very, wrestling style where the in-ring was the most important thing, and now he's learning the other stuff, American style. He's becoming a more complete performer. He's got a lot of guys to... teach him. I mean, he wrestled Bryan Danielson, He's very good. He's very good. Him and MJF is going to be crazy when it finally happens.
He's making a great claim for that world title, man. I know you're saying Swerve, but it's really hard to deny Ospreay right now.
You think he's going to take it, though?
No, but like if he keeps this up, it's like how can you deny him?
Yeah, I think eventually he's going to be the champion, and I think probably not at Forbidden Door here in a couple of weeks, but probably like if he keeps everything going and he stays healthy, I could see it happening at Wembley in August.
Well, I mean, we thought that originally anyway, so but wait and see what happens. I mean, we got to get through that Owen Hart tournament first.
Yes. Because the winner of the Owen Hart tournament gets a title shot at Wembley?
That's right.
Okay. Okay, Johnny, tell me. Death of WCW. We saw the episode this week. It was focused a lot on booking and Eric Bischoff and Goldberg, Bret
Nash.
Hart. Mismanagement, again.
Like those years, like 97 through like 99, 2000, kind of.
Yeah, it was a lot of Hogan blaming, a lot of Nash blaming, a lot of, typical WCW stuff.
I thought episode 1 was 97. This was 98. This was the whole Goldberg run. Like 97, episode 1, we're talking about Sting, how that didn't work out. Now we're talking about how Goldberg, he came up, that big rise, beating up Hogan, and then it all fell apart when he lost to Starrcade 98, and how that was mismanaged. And then
yes,
the whole Goldberg and Brett thing.
Now, let's talk about Starrcade 98. Kevin Sullivan was the only guy who was right about that situation. Kevin Sullivan said Nash should have beat him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, and you just go from there. He should have just beat him. They didn't need the cattle prod. I remember Larry Zbyszko going, "It's a cattle prod." I don't know why they said taser on the thing, because I remember Zbyszko clearly over and over. See, first time I ever heard that term in my life. So it's a cattle prod. Scott Hall's got a cattle prod.
That's a good Larry Zbyszko.
I mean, it's in
sound.
my memory. Scott Hall,
Don't forget the sound.
what's he doing with that thing? It's a cattle prod. Oh, no, Kevin Nash is going to beat Goldberg this way.
Living legend.
The NWO have done it again. Oh, jeez.
Minnesota.
I was like, so we had it with Goldberg at that point. A lot of the
People were
wrestling
turning
fans,
on him. The fans were turning on him. Yeah.
we hated Goldberg.
It was boring.
We hated Goldberg. At that point in 1998, the rise of Goldberg, it was cool when he was the United States champion on WCW Saturday Night beating Lodi. Okay? When he beat Lodi and Scotty Riggs and those jabronis,
Glacier.
when he went through Raven's flock, that was the Goldberg we liked. But then...
He beat Raven, yeah.
Yeah, the Raven stuff. And then he started, like, Hugh Morris, that was fine. You could be Hugh Morris all day. But, like, then he got to this point where then he beats Hogan out of nowhere. It's like, oh, Goldberg's really hot. We're going to have him beat Hogan at the Georgia Dome. And it's like, okay, now he's the champion and he's still undefeated and he's just going to keep squashing people as champion. And then he started to have, like, matches and they sucked. And people hated Goldberg. Like, at that point, you're like, man, Goldberg is a joke. He's not a real wrestler. He absolutely sucks. And the show, Death of WCW, or Who Killed, whatever the hell it's called, they're framing it Who Killed WCW? They're framing it as, oh, this was a bad booking move because Kevin Nash had the book. Eric Bischoff gave him the book because Bischoff was overwhelmed with the business and everything. So Nash goes, hey, Eric, why don't you give me the book? And then that's actually more of a Scott Hall than a Kevin Nash. So,
That's more of Scott Hall, yeah.
hey, yo, you know what I think we should do?
Give it to Kev.
Give it the book to Kev. And then,
Big Kev.
hey, yo, Chico. And then we're going to carve you up. So then Kevin Nash is the booker of WCW, and they're like, oh, he made himself beat Goldberg. And it's like, that was the move at that point. The move was to beat Goldberg. When Kevin Nash beat Goldberg, Kevin Nash said it on the show. If you look around when I'm holding the belt up, the crowd's on their feet. They're pumped.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to frame it as I'm the bad guy. If you see what happens, everybody's excited. And I remember watching that pay-per-view scrambled because we're not paying for it. Nobody's paying for that.
We never paid for WCW pay-per-view.
So we did the old school bootleg where you put it on the cable channel that it's on. You could listen to the thing, and it was all scrambled. Once in a while, you see like the picture.
He's like green.
Goldberg, But I remember when I heard, it's a cattle prod. I was like, yo, what's a cattle prod? And I remember I had to wait till Nitro to see what the hell that was. I'm like, Scott Hall used some sort of cattle prod. I don't know what that was. I remember thinking it was like a fork thing, like on a stick. That's what I thought a cattle prod was. Like a pitchfork? Yeah, like a pitchfork that you would prod cattle with, like fucking move,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was like a big stun gun on a stick, right? It was like this big cylinder stun gun that Scott Hall had. I had no idea till I saw it on Nitro the next night, but I remember distinctly thinking, yo, what the hell is a cattle prod? Also, oh my God, Kevin Nash finally beat Goldberg. Goldberg finally lost. Thank God. This is great. And I wasn't even that into Kevin Nash at that point, but I was like, anybody but Goldberg. And I was pumped. I was like, hell yeah, Big Sexy. Let's go. NWO for life. I was happy. And we were all happy. So they framed it as, oh, this was a bad move, and WCW, this was one of the down. No. Goldberg running as long as he ran for was terrible. I mean, let's not even talk about what he did to Brett, because Goldberg is what did Brett call him? Imbecile, idiot, fucking moron. Fuck you, Bill Goldberg. I hate Goldberg so much. He's so callous, too, when he talks about it.
You could feel like the bruised ego, like him just being like it's raw for like he's still like, oh, why is everyone mad at me for this immaturity?
Yeah, he is a fucking idiot. He spent his whole wrestling career pretending to be a tough guy when he wasn't.
No, Chris Jericho showed him up like early on.
Man, this guy was not everything that Brock Lesnar is. Bill Goldberg wishes he was. And he's not. Not even close. Bill Goldberg is an absolute fucking tool. Never fought. Acts like he did. Acts like he won a UFC heavyweight title. Acts like he's Mark Coleman or some shit. Acts like he's Randy Couture. He played football. He never fought.
Wasn't even a star in football.
This guy watched a few fights and fucking thinks he's a fucking UFC fighter. And
wasn't Mongo.
And he acts like it, too. And he's just a dumbass. People that actually fight look at him and go, what a dummy. Those guys that pretend, that act like it, they are the worst. Because they're afraid to actually test it. Because because they know deep down inside that if they tested how it worked and went to a gym and tried it out, they get fucked up.
They get exposed.
Fucking Goldberg. Such an idiot. And then people put their body in his hands and he kicks him in the head and ends their fucking career. What an idiot. Bret Hart forever. Bret just shitting on Goldberg on that show was the best part.
Yeah.
The best part. I was glad when Goldberg lost. I hated when WWE brought Goldberg in. I thought, why? Let this guy go. He
beat The Rock.
He is the ultimate warrior. He's a guy that didn't understand wrestling, didn't respect wrestling, got pushed because of his look, got pushed to the top, never appreciated it, thinks he deserved it, thinks he's God's gift to wrestling, but really absolutely sucks and will never actually learn his lesson or understand his real place in the history of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Fuck Bill Goldberg.
I remember liking Goldberg in The Rise, and then I remember seeing a magazine cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated where it's like Goldberg here and Stone Cold here.
Yup.
And I'm like, well, if you're gonna compare I know bald guy with the goatee and the black shirt, but if it's head to head, well, Stone Cold.
And they were asked about each other. There were interviews. Like wrestling media would be like, hey, or regular media, because wrestling was so mainstream, like, hey, there's another guy that looks like you on the other show, and Stone Cold would be like, that guy can't lace my boots, and Goldberg would be like, I'd love to get him, and you're like, shut up, Goldberg, you fucking suck. Stone Cold would whoop your candy ass.
You went on Jay Leno and challenged him, though.
Did Jay Leno challenge Stone Cold Goldberg to do the match or something?
Goldberg went on Jay Leno to challenge Austin.
And challenge Stone Cold, which is like so
Big
dumb.
Man.
What do you think is going to happen? And then at that point, you go, okay, Goldberg. Okay, so there you go, John. Goldberg is such a moron. Okay, Goldberg is so fucking stupid that he thinks he could go on the Tonight Show in 98 or 99 and challenge Stone Cold Steve Austin to a match, which is never going to happen.
Talk about forbidden doors.
And he thinks the fans are going to choose him over 1999 Stone Cold Steve Austin. The ego on Bill Goldberg to even think that he was in his league. 1999 Steve Austin. 98 Steve Austin. You going to fuck with that, Bill Goldberg? That guy was the greatest thing. He was God's gift to wrestling.
Yeah.
Fucking Bill Goldberg, man.
I know.
Seeing him on this show just pissed me off all over again. I'm so pissed. What pisses me off is that he didn't have to retire in disgrace. That Vince brought him back for all those money shows and Saudi Arabia and all that shit, Brock stuff. Oh yeah, when he beat Brock, when he won the title, beat Bray Wyatt, all this stuff that he did.
Yeah, he beat Bray Wyatt.
All this stuff that he did after the Brock, like at WrestleMania 20.
Yeah.
When he went away,
got stunned.
He should have never come back.
Yeah.
Retire in disgrace, get stunned, go the fuck away, stay away from wrestling forever. The fact that Vince brought him back pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because he got to win in the end, which he shouldn't, because he's garbage.
Well, that was a Paul Heyman idea, so you can thank your buddy Paul for that.
Great. Well, we do have to stick together. There's very few of us in wrestling. Let's just be honest.
But
I can't fault Heyman for that. I mean, he's trying to help out.
Goddamn Goldberg. Yeah, I saw those clips of him, and he's just got that attitude always, of well, I'm bigger than him, so obviously I should beat him up in a real fight, it's just this very simple way of looking. I remember hearing a story about Goldberg, might have been from Jericho's book, because Jericho had a lot of great stories, where Goldberg, he's like, I think he sees like Hogan's got some kind of car, and so like Goldberg gets the same one, and he like drives it up to the front where all the boys have to like walk to the entrance of at the show, and Goldberg's just standing there like leaning on his car, just waiting for someone to say like, "Hey, nice car, Bill."
Yeah.
And like nobody's giving him a time of day, and then someone just goes like, "Nice car, Bill," and Goldberg's line like is like got in the back of his like, "Oh, it probably costs more than your salary." Like it's just that attitude of like, I'm the big man, and like for no reason.
He's an idiot. I remember Raven telling a story about Goldberg where he's like, we're having a match, we're planning the match, we're talking, and he's like, so, I hit you in the gut, and you'll kind of, it's like if, you'll sell it. And he's like, no, I won't sell it.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And he's like, well, I wouldn't sell that. And Raven's like, well, if you get hit in the gut, you go, oh,
Yeah, it's a match. We're wrestling.
If somebody cracks you hard in the gut, you're going to... And he's like, well, I wouldn't. And Raven's like, well, okay. Yeah, I don't know. All right. But this is the mentality of a Goldberg who's never actually been in a fight, in a real fight, where he thinks if he got hit in the stomach, there's nobody that could give him any kind of... He's thinking...
He's such a Superman.
He's thinking, fucking Francis Ngannou liver shot is not putting him down because he's Goldberg.
But then William Regal,
William Regal just tooled him around because
Yeah.
Regal could actually wrestle and he could actually put you in holds and,
And like he wasn't afraid to like step up to him. Like, people try to say now like, oh no, actually it was a work. They were just... It was a...
Because Goldberg isn't that scary.
Yeah.
Because guys that look like
Regal...
that think they're scary, but, in reality, like we've seen enough MMA. I've been around enough martial arts for most of my life at this point to know that the big jacked guy with the fucking barbed wire tattoo on your arm is not the toughest guy in the room. It's the little nerdy guy in the corner with glasses on who's like all wiry and shit. He's the scary guy. Yeah. He's going to kill Goldberg.
He'll like shake your hand right before. He's like, all right, let's
he's really nice.
He's relaxed.
He's super friendly, and like he wouldn't say something so disrespectful as my car costs more than you make in a year, because he's respectful.
Yeah.
He'll kill you, though. He'll kill Goldberg easily with his hands. But he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Regal stated in his book that it wasn't a work, that he got in a lot of trouble, actually, for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did.
Because he made Goldberg look like the tool that he is. It wasn't a work. Regal, beat up Goldberg in that match. He showed him what wrestling is. Goldberg had no idea what he was dealing with. And he's lucky that Regal didn't make it worse for him.
Yeah.
Could have been way
You guys
worse.
aren't going to talk about the Scott Hall incident that they showed?
Which
where
one?
Goldberg threw him up to the ropes, and then he came off awkwardly, and then he just fell down, and Scott's like, "What was that?" And
Yes.
Bill's like, "I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah, he blew a spot, and Scott Hall just showed him up in the ring, which is beautiful. That's classic Scott Hall, too. That's click behavior right there. Shawn Michaels would have done the same thing. What are you doing? Goldberg's green. They're wrestling.
He did that to Vader, Michaels.
Yeah, Vader did it. Yeah, he did it to Vader, who was more seasoned than Goldberg. But Goldberg's stiff. He's green. And Goldberg, he blew a spot. They were trying to do something. Goldberg, and he got lost in the match. And Scott Hall's just standing there looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? Just looking right at him. The match just stops, and Scott Hall's just yelling at him you can't wrestle. What the fuck are you doing? Scott Hall was the best, man. Hey, what are you doing?
Classic Triple H thing, about Goldberg and the Tough Enough thing.
Yo, which you can't find anymore.
Can't find it. It's been wiped.
But there's a Triple H thing when he's on Tough Enough, it's during the Goldberg era, and some guy had a picture of Goldberg on his wall, they showed his house or whatever.
And he said I love Goldberg.
He's like, oh, you like Goldberg, eh? And he's like, he's a piece of shit wrestler. He just fucking buries Goldberg.
Guy hasn't been in the business 5 years. Can't work more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's who you look up to.
Says he's got a tummy ache and gotta go home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your hero.
Man. Yeah, he fucking buried Goldberg.
Yeah. I don't know if that was
they
around
had
the
an
time
incident
Goldberg
back
punched the
in that
window.
run too.
Huh?
There was an incident. Remember Goldberg confronted Triple H and Stephanie at some sort of convention?
Really?
What an idiot.
Yeah,
That
happened.
when?
I want to say this is 99, 2000. It's around that time.
It was with Stephanie, or it was McMahon Helmsley.
Holy
stuff.
shit. Goldberg is so stupid, man.
God damn. Yeah, he's a mark for himself.
He's the worst.
The
fact that you ever defend him, John, is really offensive as a Bret Hart fan. I know how much you love Bret Hart. The fact that you could ever or appreciate or defend Bill Goldberg is really beyond me. I don't get it. He's the worst.
Well, there's many reasons here. One, Bret has said in the past, he didn't say it on this one, obviously, because we're not focused on this, is the fact that it's not completely Goldberg's fault. He was poorly trained. And I think they both admitted that, too.
Yeah, but Bret pretty much said it was his fault.
Yeah.
Bret was pretty clear that it was his fault on this show, John.
We focused on that part for this show because, that's what the important part was this. But they also worked an angle together, in 2000 afterwards, doing a promo against each other, pretty much saying almost exactly what was said on this show. They worked together after the fact. So, and Bret, and this, again, the facts are a little bit off here. That didn't end Bret's career. Bret wrestled after the Goldberg match.
Yeah, but it was the concussion that led to the end. It was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, he worked hurt.
He worked hurt after that. He had a concussion.
I think he wrestled a hardcore match with Terry Funk or something, but he was already, he had to fulfill his dates.
Come on, man.
They want to be in breach.
Well, and I think we could also take into consideration the fact that Bret suffered another horrible injury later on in life. I think that may have helped him also end his
career. When he had a stroke?
That was from the concussions.
That was from the concussions.
When he fell off his bike.
But he was on off his bike, yeah.
Yeah, but
his brain,
it was from the concussions, John.
It wasn't that he fell down and then, he was riding his bike.
It didn't help him that much that he had to fall down and then, have a seizure. That's not good.
No, but
he almost died.
It was from the years of...
Yeah.
And the Goldberg thing ended his career. That was a concussion that was you can't do this anymore. Your brain is fragile.
Yeah.
And it's not like that was the first ever concussion he's ever had in his life. And you can't tell me in WWF he didn't have
Goldberg
concussion
apologist. This guy still shits on Shawn Michaels, but for some reason he apologizes for Goldberg. Shawn just screwed Brett. Fucking Goldberg ended his career.
Yeah, Shawn was safe.
At least Shawn took care of Brett in the ring.
Oh yeah, Shawn like just trying to mess with Brett's like marriage and everything. Yeah, like wonderful
God,
human
I'd
being.
rather you mess with my marriage than try to kill me with a kick to the head. I could take care of my marriage. I can't take care of my brain getting scrambled. I could figure out a way to explain things after a promo. I can't figure out a way to explain my brain turn into mush because of a big stupid Goldberg. Can't fix that. You could fix the marriage. You can't fix your brain. Although Bryan Danielson seems to have done it. I don't know. He figured out a way, brother. Figured out a way.
None of that happens. None of that happens if Shawn doesn't screw him over at Survivor Series.
Whoa. You fuck you.
Butterfly wings.
None of that happens if Vince doesn't, honor his contract and pay Brett what he told him he was going to pay him in the first place.
And if Hogan doesn't jump to WCW.
That's right. It's really Eric Bischoff's fault, John. It all goes back to Eric Bischoff for signing Hogan, brother. Screwed Vince.
Like I don't know about you.
It's Ted Turner.
Like it really did it not feel like Who Killed WCW helped like vindicate Eric Bischoff in a lot of this? Like it felt like that was the whole plan of this almost. Like it's not Bischoff's fault.
I mean, it's partly his fault, but it's not completely his fault.
Right. That's what it seemed like that was the goal of this show.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you look at WCW, he helped the company a tremendous amount.
In more ways than anyone ever did. Like, I mean, he beat Vince. Nobody else ever did that. And the fact that he got canned so quickly was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Feel bad for him a little bit. But also, he was so hated and hateable,
Great general manager.
It's been a fun show to watch. I'm enjoying it. I'll watch the next episode. We'll talk about it next week on the show. We'll be back tomorrow evening. I'm thinking around 5 p.m. Eastern time. The show starts at 2 p.m., so we'll be on at 5, John. What do you think?
5:30-ish, maybe.
I think it'll be 3 hours. I think it'll be 5 p.m. Eastern time right here on the Ringside Report Network tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, right after WWE's Clash at the Castle to recap all of the action. Shout out to all the members. Angelo Contagones, Antoinette, thank you for gifting the membership. Sebastian Rouillard, thank you for gifting the membership as well. Welcome to our new members. Shout out to Jimmy James. Shout out to Big Bob Burgers, new member of the team. CSL Lorne as well. Just got home from Cirque du Soleil.
Ooh.
That's fun. I love Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, I've seen some cool stuff.
Take me next time. Sebastian Rouillard, Angelo Contagones. Who else is in the chat? Franco316, Andrew G, new member of the team as well. Welcome, Andrew. My goodness. Leor.
We got Big Cheese Bob Burgers.
Big Cheese Bob Burgers. I don't want to forget anybody. So many members of the team jumping in tonight over at join.ringsidereport.net and membership.ringsidereport.net. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Johnny North, just before we go, you have a next match you need to promote. When's the next one?
So it's going to be in Sudbury.
Oh.
My original match got changed, so I don't know who I'm wrestling right now, but I will be wrestling again in Sudbury for Project X Wrestling. You can look them up on Facebook and Instagram. Project X Wrestling.
Also, you had a match recently, or maybe it wasn't you. I don't know if it was you, actually. There was a guy that looked a lot like you, physique-wise, and he was like Green Phantom's brother, or evil brother? He was like an evil Green Phantom. But I know you're not related to Green Phantom, but that guy looked a lot like you. Did you see this guy?
I heard there was some sort of like Green Phantom versus like Dark Phantom.
Yeah.
Some people said Black Phantom, but apparently that's not very PC, so it had to be Dark Phantom.
Okay.
And apparently like Mama Phantom got involved, which was very interesting because I found out the Green Phantom was like half black. I'm like, wow, Phantom, I never knew this.
Wow. Revelations.
Moms, yeah, revelations that happened. It was quite the family drama that happened in that match. Very educational. 1-2-3 Wrestling. It's a new federation that just started up in Montreal. Very good federation. And a lot of drama, a lot of craziness. I think a door was broken in that match.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
A lot of
Forbidden
craziness.
door.
Who went through a door?
I believe it was Shane Pinto that went through it. Yes.
Oh, okay. Not the Dark Phantom.
No, I think he was okay for the
That's
most
good.
part.
That's good. When was this?
I think this was last Sunday. Not mistaken.
Okay.
The 9th? Yeah, it was the 9th.
It's weird. You know a lot about it, and I'm not sure if I don't know. It's a guy that looks a lot like you under a mask, so it's hard to tell. But I can
Similar
recognize
to that El Contador guy.
I can recognize John's. Well, I'm not sure, but I think I can recognize John's shirtless torso. So if you ever decapitated John, I'll be able to identify you, if that happens to you.
And my feet size. You'll know that too.
Yeah, what are you, 14, 15?
There you go. See, you know it.
I remember.
14.
You know how
15,
big I
that's
am.
a lot.
What are you, 15? It's like 15, right? Mostly?
Super chat.
Well, 14 wide. But yeah, 15's better.
15. It's a big man over there.
Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. Sideshow Bob. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Angelo Contagonis dropping a super chat. You're the super chat leader of the night. Thank you to Antoinette. Thank you to Sebastian Ruyard for those gifted memberships. Appreciate all the support of all the members over at join.ringsidereport.net and membership.ringsidereport.net. Of course, go to ringsidereport.net, our exclusive website. Lots of great content over on our online home, ringsidereport.net. I'll be back.
And get merch, too.
Get merch. Merch.ringsidereport.net. My God, so many things to plug. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon.
That's right.
Right after Clash at the Castle. We love you. We'll see you again real soon here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.